Hello, my name is Michael Garrick, and this is PoppinCulture. My guest today is a comedian slash social media influencer, and literally the best comedian I know, Brandon Rainwater.
How's everybody doing? What's up, Mike? Thank you for having me, man. Appreciate you.
No problem. Man, thank you again for doing it, man. Like I say, guys, Brandon's is a comedian. Catch him whenever you can. You do mostly, like I say, the southeast, but really everywhere for the most part. But yeah, if you guys see him coming to your town, please make sure you check him out.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, check me out.
Yeah. Also, when I have comedians, I love to ask. A lot of people like to focus on bombing, but I'm more focused on succeeding.
Okay.
So, when was the first time you killed, and how did it feel?
I felt like the first time, like a lot of people have like good sets, but the first time I felt like I actually killed, I actually won a competition at the Comedy Zone in Greenville, and it was against a couple veteran comics were there too that I had like been looking up to. Was like, man, these guys are funny. I don't think I'm ever going to be able to get past them. If I beat this one, then it's three more. And man, like I got up there that night and my set, everything I said had the timing was right. The laughter rolled over to the next joke, man. It was just a really good set, man. So I remember that because I won $200, $100 for being the funniest comic, and then you get like 25 for every other category that you won. And at the time, I was the first comic to win all 4 categories, so I went to Jack in the Box to celebrate.
Okay.
I went to Jack in the Box, man.
Okay.
Sure did.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Has anything compared to that feeling?
I mean, I've had a couple other like good sets and stuff, man, but I feel like that one's one of my best ones because I felt like that kind of like set me on my path of letting me know like, hey man, you can actually do this, you're funny, and other comics was like, hey man, you doing your thing. So after that, man, I really kind of made me feel real good, and I felt like that's when I really started to take off. I started getting booked a little more and stuff. You know, you win a competition, people look at you different, especially back then. That was one of the top competitions you could win in the area.
Nice. So we've known each other for a couple of years, and usually what I do in pop culture, we choose a topic, and we talk about how that's influenced pop culture. But for you, man, I would really like to just have an interview.
Okay.
Just a regular podcast, not considered an interview.
Okay.
But just a conversation. So when did you realize you wanted to do stand-up?
First off, man, like most people, you realize when you're young, you're like, hey, this is cool. I want to try it some. And then you don't think it's really something that you can do, or you don't even know how to get into it, because I was from a small town. And then I eventually moved up to Greenville, South Carolina, and, you know, kind of just forgot about it, wasn't thinking about it. Was at home one day and kind of cracking jokes, whatever, on my grandmother, and she was like, hey, you should really do something with it. Try. And I was like, yeah, we'll see. And maybe like a week later, I seen a sign up on the road, and it says, hey, it's open mic every Tuesday. So I was like, yeah, I'll go there and see what it is. And I went there, man, and like, it's a rush. And it's like riding a roller coaster, man. You're nervous, but once it's done, you're like, oh my gosh, that was fun. So I enjoy it, man.
Nice. When it comes to your stand-up, is everything based off your life, or do you try to like just throw in some fiction from time to time?
Yeah, it's all based off my life, and I'll embellish it a little bit to beef it up a little bit. But everything that my jokes, if you trace them back, it came from a real life situation. You know, I may say if it was 10 people, I may add, man, it was a house full of people and everybody in there was stepping on top of each other. There was so many. But once you trace the joke all the way back, you'll be able to say, okay, oh, no, I was with him when this part happened and he took it and made the story better. But it all comes from real life situations.
Okay. As a clean comic, do you find it harder to be funny?
Not initially, I did, because your mind is not trained to write that way, and so I had to relearn my writing skills and what I felt was funny and what I felt the crowd would think was funny. And once I started doing that, then it became just as easy as, you know, for any other comic. But that was my biggest hurdle. I had got used to writing a certain way, and then when I decided I wanted to switch over, it was, you know, I had to retrain my whole mind. I was like, hey, from now on, you know, don't even get on that path. Just anytime one of those jokes would come in my head, I would just push it down. And then now it's like second nature. I don't think about it.
As a comedian myself, trying to get more clean, I've always been told that you get more opportunities being clean. Is that true?
I feel like it is. I really do. And there's probably comics out there who would say, hey, they get just the same amount of opportunities. But I know for myself personally, I've gotten a lot of opportunities just because I am a clean comic. I never have to worry about someone says, hey man, for this show you need to be this, or this show you need to be that, but I've done everywhere from churches to weddings to baby showers, you name it. And I'm not saying you can't go to those places and not do clean, but I'm just saying for me personally, I know it's opened up a lot of doors. One of my first paying gigs I got was because I was clean. Another comic in the Columbia area called me and he was like, hey man, I want you to come down. It's not a lot of clean comics. Paid me pretty good. And I was like, yo, this is the way to be. So to me, I feel like you get more.
Okay. Cool. Has anybody ever, I know you're clean, but has anybody ever complained about something you talked about, like subject matter?
No, man, because it's two different types of clean. You have clean where you won't curse, but you can say something, sexual or give somebody a hint to make you think you're going a certain way. But I do clean and clean content, and I don't do anything about politics or nothing. So mine is squeaky clean as you can possibly get it, as far as on a stand-up basis, so I've been fortunate, what I'm saying, that, once I switched over to that I didn't even know it was two different types. Another comic told me, he said, oh, you're clean and clean content. I was like, I had no idea, what that meant. I just thought if you had to be clean, you couldn't say nothing. Not only could you not curse, but you couldn't say anything about, nothing else. So that's the way I figured it. But, I haven't had that issue. But, that's just, like I said, I can only speak from my experience. I haven't yet.
Okay. One thing I've been working on, but you always kill at, is crowd work. What would advice you give to like newer or any comedian when it comes to crowd work?
Well, the first thing I always say, man, is just look at be observant, look around. A lot of comics when they come in, you see other comics, you want to talk to them and hang out, do all of that, but then at some point, just take a second or two, and while you're talking to them, just look around the room and just look and see. And when you're doing that, it's like training your mind to look for things, at least in my opinion. So you might not be necessarily writing down stuff that you may say or pick at anyone, but it's just training your mind to be looking and looking. So when you get on stage, as soon as you're saying, hey, how's everybody doing, the same process, then just start looking around and say, okay, I see this, I see that. And then you're asking these questions, the stuff to set up some crowd work. If you're nervous about crowd work, you can do pre-planned crowd work where you ask a question and you have 4 different answers for it. So I may say like, hey, Mike, do you have any animals? And then if you say no, I'll be like, oh, well, sounds like somebody who must be in a good relationship, and this boom. If they say, yeah, I got animals, sound like somebody who needs to be in a relationship, so whatever, so that's a way to ease into crowd work and give the effect of crowd work without having to be on the spot and have that like, oh my gosh, I don't know where I'm gonna go with it. So, but it's just like anything else, man. The more you do it, the more you try it, the more comfortable you get to it. It's just about being comfortable and confident.
Nice. Another thing, like I said, we've known each other for a while.
Yeah,
man. Like I said, you are my favorite comedian.
Appreciate that.
When it comes to hecklers,
yeah,
I've seen you be nice and I've seen you go in. How do you decide whether to be nice or to really lay into them?
Well, it all depends on them. Like I wouldn't say like I give them a warning, but if I'll step over there with them, because usually if someone's heckling, they just want to be a part of the show. So I'll acknowledge them a little bit, then I'll try to pull away from it. I'm like, okay, cool, you said whatever. But then if they're trying to take the attention from the show and bring it on them, and then I feel like at that point, then I have to show you that you're not going to have the attention and no one's here to see you. So at that point, I'm like, okay, this is what you want. You want to be made the center of attention. I'm gonna make you the center of attention, and it's not gonna be the way you like it. It's not gonna be fun for you.
Okay. Okay. The first time you got heckled, were you like nervous, or you kind of already like had a background from like I guess when you were a kid picking on people, or?
Yeah. I mean, cause I come from a big family. You know, older brother, older uncle who's only a couple of years older, so kind of used to like teasing each other and picking at each other. So you know, when you come from that background, when someone says something to you, you're like, oh yeah, I'm ready for this. So as soon as they said it, I was like, okay, well, boom, 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 boom. And, you know, the biggest thing, man, with a heckler, man, is just to don't allow them to say anything back because you got the microphone. So it's no matter what they say, it's never going to be as funny as what you say because I can overtalk them. Two, I'm a comic. I'm already, like you mentioned earlier, I like doing crowd work. So I'm going to be thinking of 2 and 3 steps ahead. I'm not even going to let him get out something. Even if he did think it was funnier than mine, I'm going to say so many things to him, it's not going to matter. So, yeah, that's the way I try to do it anyway, though.
Nice. Going towards the networking side of comedy, would you say every gig you've got is because of someone else?
I would say like a large majority of them when I first started off came through someone else or through being seen and someone else recommended. That's just the way it works. It's part of the process. You got to get out there and, you know, put yourself in front of comics, hit the open mics, go other places, find out who book shows, book them on your shows, and you just kind of pass it around, and that's the way it goes. Later on, the more you get in there, you don't have to do that as much because, you know, people will say, okay, well, I heard Mike is a good comic from somebody, or hey, I see this guy post flyers all the time, so let me hit him up and see if he's want to do a show. But starting out, man, your first 2 or 3 years, you're gonna have to build relationships, and relationships will get you gigs, even more than anything else.
Yes, definitely. When it comes to like clubs, do you have a certain venue you like performing at the most, or do you like all of them the same?
No, I mean like I would be lying if I said I like all the venues the same. The venues that I've had the most fun at are the venues that have crowds that are, I guess, quote unquote trained. You know, by that, if a club has been around for a while, then the audience members there know how to act. They know what they're coming there for. They're not surprised. They've been there a couple of times. So those venues are more of a natural comedy club. And you're not always going to be able to do stuff there. Some clubs have been around 10, 15 plus years. Just those clubs, the people that come there, they know they're coming there for a comedy show. The newer clubs, the people come there and like, they know what a comedy show is, but they don't know what they're supposed to do there. They're like, oh, we supposed to laugh? Well, I'm enjoying it, but I didn't want to laugh out loud. They're embarrassed, and it just makes it, you know. So I just like going to venues where people know that's why they're there, man. And I have a couple favorite venues, like most comics, man. You know, the Charlotte area seem to really know they want comedy. I've been to Alabama a couple times, and those areas, they really know that they love and like comedy. Greenville is doing pretty good too. They're really starting to know it, but it's just Atlanta. But it's just about getting into rooms and areas to where the people are not embarrassed to have a good time.
Nice. I totally agree with that. I also want to go to the social media influence side. You've been doing videos for years.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people are just seeing you. Like, some people are just like finding out now. But like, I remember in 2017, I think it was one of the first times I saw you put a video out, and to see where you came now, man. Like, I'm just proud of you, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Because a lot of people used to do videos and they just stop.
Yeah.
So
and it's hard to keep yourself motivated because you're not getting the views you want, you're not getting the attention you want sometimes, but you got to have tunnel vision, and you just got to keep saying, hey, eventually something is going to happen, because it only takes one video to put you in the right person's views and the right crowds, and then they say, hey man, I like that, let me see more of this guy, let me see more of that guy. So, you know, just that's why I tell everybody, man, it's a long road. Some people hit the road faster than other ones. Some of them hit it a little longer, but it's still a road, and a long road that most people got to go down to. So,
like, I know you got the views, you got the followers, but it didn't hit me in real life till literally, I think it was like, I want to say last month, where like we were at the mall and like was it like 4 people asked for a picture with you?
Yeah, that was
and
crazy.
Yeah, I was the picture taker, and I was just like, after the third one, I ain't had no hate in my heart, but I was just like, hey man, you could have told me. We could have definitely.
Man, yeah.
He was like, man, let's go to the mall. I'm about to get a jacket. The whole time I was like, okay, all right. Could have went to Walmart and got a jacket.
Right. Man, but this is new to me, man. This is definitely new to me. Cause I'm not. To me, I'm like, hey, I'm just making videos. I don't be looking at like, oh man, I got a lot of people following me, so now I'm getting closer and closer to where you need to be. But once you start getting recognized a little bit, man, I had people come up to clubs. I'm at a club. They're like, oh my gosh, man, I follow you on social media. I was doing a show and a guy tagged me in it, and I didn't even know. And he didn't even really recognize me. He just knew I was going to be here. And once I got on stage, he was like, oh man, I'm here with Brandon Rainwater. I was like, yo, this is cool. So it's a cool feeling, but like you said, man, the time at the mall was crazy because
oh yeah,
especially the first one, because I thought the guy was trying to get us to buy something, and he was like, yo, come here, man. I was like, I don't want to buy nothing. He was like, no, I just want to take a picture with one of the funny guys I seen on the internet. I was like, oh, I am so sorry.
Yeah, you code switch fast on that one. He was like,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, I felt bad then. I was like, I'm sorry, man, I got you.
I said no.
Right. I was thinking he wanted us to buy something. I was like, I ain't buying nothing. Felt bad, man. I felt bad.
He got the picture. He'll be all right.
Yeah.
Have you ever? I guess it's still early, but have you ever been nervous when someone came up to you?
No, not yet, man. Because it happens occasionally, not that often, but just enough, man. So, but I do keep in mind now that that people do recognize me or will recognize me, like before. And I'm not saying like by no means I'm trying to put on like I'm famous and that, but before, you
are, man.
Well, it's getting there, hopefully even more, But I was like, man, I don't care what I wear out. Ain't nobody gonna see me. But now it seems like every time when I used to think that, someone would see me like, oh, I seen you at the club. Oh, I seen you on that. So I was like, okay, I don't got to come out here looking like $1,000, but I need to at least come out here with my nice shirt on, decent shirt on, and a pair of pants on, just because now it's just a whole different, it's a whole different thing, man. Which is, like I said, which is cool. I'm fortunate to be able to have people recognize me,
Yeah. We won't go deep into it, but I think it would be a disservice to you if I didn't say, you're a great father, man. Like, you can tell your kids love you. Do they find you funny?
Oh yeah, man. My daughter and my son both, they tell me I'm funny. There was really one of the first people who kind of let me know that, hey, I'm actually a little more bigger than this, social media things or what I knew. Like my daughter's friend called her at school. Called her when we was at home, and she was like, Dad, will you please tell this person that you my dad? I was like, watch that. They don't think I know you because they follow you on social media and watch all your videos. And she was like, will you please tell me? I was like, I'm her dad, because it was weird. So, they get a kick out of it, man. I make them be in my videos sometimes when I can talk them into it. Okay. But you know how it is, man.
Yeah, I don't think I can put my stepson in any videos. I don't know. His dad's a big man. I don't want to do anything like that till he gives me permission.
Sometimes, man. Gotta get him sometimes.
Once I get his father's permission, I'm like, oh yeah. When it comes to comedy, I like to ask comedians, if you can explain to the audience, and when they say we're both comedians, can you explain to them what's it like to write a joke, know in your mind that you think this joke is going to kill, say the joke, and no one laughs?
Yeah, man. I heard somebody say one time, I can't remember who it was, it's like saying being a comedian is one of the craziest things you can do, because when you're going on stage, you're pretty much telling the audience, I know what's funny better than you know what's funny. Because they don't know what you know is funny, so you're going to take that idea and you're going to put it up on stage. So anything that as a comic, as we get on stage, we assume is funny to not only us but to everyone. We got to be a good judge of it. So you put a lot of work and effort into that. So when you get on stage and you say that joke and it don't hit like how you want to hit, and it's a little awkward silence, and it's then when you got to decide, okay, how much further do I want to go in this awkward silence, or can you bounce back up to something else? But yeah, it's happened, but like now my reflex reaction, because different jokes hit better at some audiences. So it goes back to earlier we were saying, you got to be observant, check your crowds, check your audience. And it doesn't necessarily mean like, oh, this was old, this was young. You just got to look at the audience and, the area, maybe the area you're at, So all of those things come into place, man, to try to make sure that you have less and less and less of those moments, man. But yeah, it's a horrible feeling when you tell a joke that you think is funny that you in your head was like, oh, this gonna kill him, and they're like, I don't get it. You like, throw that away. Then you got to decide, do you throw it away or do you rewrite it? And that's an even different discussion, you know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ask for your top 5, but who are a few comedians that influenced you?
Richard Pryor was one of the main ones, my first ones. I used to listen to his tapes back in the day. Yeah, that's how old I am. I would listen to his tapes, man, and I was like, yo, this man can tell a story, and I could like close my eyes and I could like see his jokes coming through, and Richard Pryor, I listened to Red Fox a little bit. Sinbad was super funny too. Bill Cosby, before he got all letting us, was one of my ones. I used to listen to his because I like people that could paint a vivid story and just take you on a ride to where like not only can you hear the jokes in it, but like you like, man, I could make a movie off of this joke just by how good he described us and still kept it funny. Like I can visualize everything he's saying. And so like, and I've like a lot of older school comics, man. And of course, Dave Chappelle, man, he's a genius, at least to me, man. Like I don't have like, I don't think I'm a fanboy of any comic besides maybe him. I'm pretty cool and calm. But Dave Chappelle came out, I would be like, man, let me just ask you a couple of things. Like, how do you get to that level of just greatness when it comes to writing and just being that funny all the time? It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is, man. Okay, that's a great list. I definitely can see that, like, you do how the clean comedy came to be, just judging by those comedians. First time somebody said Sinbad, but I totally agree, man. Sinbad was a killer.
Yeah.
Well, his last special was pretty good too.
Yeah, man. I seen him live. I seen him live at a club, man. And no joke, for 2.5 hours, Sinbad made us laugh. And I'm not talking about a laugh every now and then. It was to the point to where, like, I was like, man, I'm tired of laughing. Let me go home and stop laughing. I'm tired. I was tired from laughing, man. And he just joke after joke after joke after joke. And it's just, like I said, man, it's just being able to write jokes like that to where even if he wasn't Sinbad, the jokes would still be funny. Because it comes a level as a comic to where, the audience will forgive the dead or forgive the storytelling part of the joke if they love the comic enough. They'll listen to Dave Chappelle talk for 10 minutes before he tells a punchline because they love Dave Chappelle. They're not going to listen to Brandon or Michael that long. You know what I'm saying? So we got to come out different. And that doesn't mean, I'm not saying by no means I'm funnier than them. I'm just saying, like, it's a different level when you get to that level. But he didn't do that. He told jokes like he was trying to impress everyone and everybody like they had never seen him before. And it was just 2.5 hours of just joke after joke after joke, funny story, joke. And I was like, man, I don't know how he did that. It's crazy.
Nice. You brought up Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle has a famous quote where he says, it's good to be interesting and it's good to be funny. Just dumbing down the quote. I can't remember the exact words. But in your opinion, what do you think is more important, being interesting or being funny?
I'm going to say being funny. It's just because I've always been funny. And if you're funny, then you become interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody got a funny friend or know someone funny or people pass around funny memes more than anything else. No matter how intelligent the people are, people pass around stuff. So I'm going to say being funny, but hey, it's my humble opinion.
Okay, cool. My last question for you is, I noticed that you have sets where you'll move around the stage, and you have sets sometimes where you'll stay in one place. What do you feel more comfortable, moving or standing in one place?
I when I'm moving around, I'm really in my zone. Then I'm really in my zone, and that is, if you see me moving around a lot like that, you're getting Brandon at his best. And I'm not saying I'm not at my best when I'm sitting solid and still, but when I get that motion and I'm moving and I'm working the entire stage, I'm at a different level then. So when I get that type of energy going, and sitting there and move a little bit of movement, I'm still giving the audience a good show. But if I can get my energy up and really be moving and rocking the stage like how I like to, then I know, I'm like, hey, you guys are in trouble today because I'm finna blow this top off. So I like to be moving around if possible.
Nice, man. Well, thank you for coming on to the podcast.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you'd like to say to your fans?
No, man. Just continue, to support my boy Mike's podcast, man. Real good dude. Known him for a while. Follow me on social media. It's just my name, Brandon Rainwater.
Nice. All right, man. Thank you again. And you guys have an amazing day.